Morning and welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Saturday, I'm not sure on the date, let me have a look. It's Saturday the 21st of January. Wow, first month's nearly gone already. Sorry I've been absent for a little while. Basically, I've just been getting some jobs done that wasn't really worthy of videoing. And today it's absolutely freezing. It was only 2 degrees in here when I came in. I've got the heater on in the background, you can possibly hear that. But I've came up today with the intentions, if the weather stays dry at least, it is cold out there, but if it stays dry at least, I'm going to try and tidy out the greenhouse, the tree house over in the growing area, and start putting some compost on the beds that I haven't had any nutrition for 2 or 3 years. So we'll take some fish blood and bone over there, we'll get that down, and then we'll add my compost on top. And then if I have time and the weather holds out, I might even get some onions planted in there and or garlic, what's still sitting in the other greenhouse down there on the shelf, and maybe get those in as well. So, I don't know if you can see, but I've now got my microwave in here, now that I've got the electrics in. Got my toaster over here if I want to make a piece of toast. And I've got the electric kettle as well, which was much quicker for boiling this. And I've got the generator running now so that it can charge the battery up for the diesel heater, because this cold weather's really taking its toll on it. So we're just giving that a bit of a top up whilst it's actually running with the battery charger. So I'm going to have this cup of coffee, and hopefully the weather will hold out long enough that I can get something done today. Right, I just thought I'd show you what we've been doing over the last couple of weekends, me and Tony. So basically I'm in the garage now, which is somewhere you've never seen before. And this is the garage, and it was that packed with clutter all over the floor, I couldn't even get in it. So now it's a garage. I can use it as a workshop. Up here you'll see I have lots of useful scaffolding boards and big runners, all my 8-foot bamboo canes and everything. And we've put an extra truss in there for to be able to take all of this and take all the weight. We've got shelving right up that wall now, and everything tidy. I can find it, I can see what I'm doing. We took the bench out that was in here and modified it. I have now this little work table here which is on wheels, which I can bring out and put a circular saw on and work away in on, and it tucks away neatly back under there. A rack in here with all the gardening stuff on, and a couple of scaffolding board shelves with a quick snap with these metal brackets that I've showed in other videos. Really quick way of doing it, and scaffolding boards on there, and we've done the same likewise on this side. And I'm going to wire this out with electrics as well. This is my next project. This is a little log burner that our Tony made many moons ago, and it was sitting in his garden rusting away, and he brought me through, and I'm going to wire brush all this down with the drill, and then we're going to repurpose it and put the flue out here and up, and have a little log burner in here along with my swivel padded chair, which wants a good clean of course. But yeah, so I just thought I'd show you. This is basically what we've been doing over the last couple of weekends, and I didn't bother videoing it. It just is what it is. I just thought I'd crack on and get this done. So another jobbed, and it pretty much it goes without saying. We've obviously got security cameras all over the place, which store images up in the cloud. So basically we have this extra protection. This one's quite visible, but the rest are all hidden around the allotment. But there's numerous ones. They all work on Wi-Fi, and they all store the images up in the cloud. Right, so my intention today is to perhaps get this bed uncovered and that one, and start putting my homemade compost top dressing on. Fish blood and bone down first, then the top dressing of compost, of my own homemade compost. So let's see if we can get that sorted before the weather turns. Right, that's warmed me up a bit. This is the fullest these beds have been since the very first day I built them. And there's 3.5 wheelbarrowfuls on here, and I put 2.5 on that one there. The compost isn't bad at all. Yes, it's a little bit woody, and there's some wood that hasn't fully broken down from the wood chips that we harvested, but we added a lot of greenery. All of the greenery waste that we had last year was added to this. It's full of worms, and it's certainly warmed me up a bit. But yeah, I've still got quite a bit here, and there are some more beds that needs dressed down. That one up there in particular, and these 3 here, so we can they haven't had any nutrition for a while, but we have put the fish blood and bone down as well before we dress this. So all the leeks have had it, the frost got them all, likewise with the ones at the top and the celery. So all them's coming out and going into the compost bin. And as you can see, we cleaned out the chickens last week. This isn't all just from last week. I'd already started this bale last year and it was about half full. But this is all the chicken manure and wood chips. And what we'll do when we get this one emptied is we'll start again with a layer of the dryish stuff, and then we'll start with greens, and we'll just keep adding bits of this into it and layering it up, carbon and nitrogen. Right, so we've made another start. I've now cleared this bed of all of the leeks, and I thought they had all had it, but we've managed to get 3 nice leeks out of it. So 3's better than none. The rest have gone in the compost bin, but they're still very, very firm, and they've got themselves right down deep, as you can see, and they're quite edible. So we've got that cleared out now, but those are my garlic chives I planted last year. We'll leave them along that edge. And then I've got all of this celery pulled out of here now, and all of this dross that you see on the top is basically just celery leaves, not roots. We just left it to rot down when we harvested celery the last time we did. So the next thing I'm going to do is get those leeks out of there as well, start tidying these beds up and top dressing them with my compost. Right, oh, I'm absolutely wore out, but I'm pleased to say I've saved a fortune this year with compost. So I'm just, I don't know if you could see on the camera there, but basically we put slow release fertiliser down first, and then I'm putting this top dressing of compost on here, and then we're going to give it some of the super soil as well when we come to planting these. That'll be in a later video, of course. Oh, absolutely, I've warmed up now, but although my compost isn't perfect, it's probably the best I've done up to now, and yeah, it'll be more like a mulch than a compost, but there is feed in it which will wash through this and into the beds and feed the beds. And we put the slow release fertiliser in as well, and then we'll get a bit of the old super soil before we plant, and these really should produce some decent crops. Now what will happen is when the rain beds this in, we'll basically end up with a layer of what just looks like wood chip on the top, because it'll wash all the nutrients and goodness into the bed, and all that will be left on the top is the stuff that hasn't broken down, i.e. bits of wood chip bark and things like that. But all of the material from the cabbage leaves and cauliflower leaves and all the other greenery that went into this has all broken down nicely, and it will feed these beds. What's more, it's probably saved me £100 up to now on buying compost this year. Now, it remains to be seen how this all pans out, but basically I've no reason to believe I won't get better crops this year than last year, as long as the season's okay. So that's really good. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these two beds over here to my right, to my left, they took up like 6 wheelbarrows, probably 6 and a bit wheelbarrows full of my compost, because they hadn't been done for 3 years. And again, we put fish blood and bone down with those, on those first, and then we dressed them. And I've put a layer about that deep on it, basically. These ones are getting, these pallet beds have basically got, I don't know, yeah, a good finger's depth dressing. And there's plenty of feed in this, guys. Like I said, when it rains, it'll look like this is just wood chip sitting on the top. And potentially it will be, because it'll wash all the goodness down into the bed. And that will act as a suppressant as well, hopefully. That's the intention. But there's chicken manure in here, there's wood chips from the chicken bed in here, there's salvaged wood chips from the paths from last year, there's all of the greenery, and it should be really nutritious. Plus, just to be on the safe side, I've put some slow release underneath as well, just an extra feed on the beds. But I've managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beds in total dressed with what compost I made myself last year. Now, with the depth that I've put on these, there's actually 3 gone on the big top bed up there. I'll turn you around in a minute, I'll give you a look. So that's like 9, 10, 11, 12 wheelbarrowfuls. I don't know how many bags that would equate to, but it must be 100 quid's worth, I'm thinking, that I've saved myself this year. And all the other beds on the other side of the grown area, all were dressed down back end of last summer. If you watched the last videos, if you haven't seen that, pop along. When I was making the brassica cages thing, I actually rotivated all of those and then dressed them all off with brand new compost that I bought in. All of those beds, with the exception of 2, which still need rotivated, and they will want some fresh compost this year. But that leaves me with 2 beds to dress instead of all of these. So, massive bonus. Right, so because there's still quite a lot of wind up, I'm leaving the wireless mic in, and hopefully this will still come through okay. So this is our, well, I would think there's another 2 wheelbarrowfuls perhaps in here left that I can go at. And they'll probably do to do that bed, dress this one down when I do the weeding on that one. It's the only one really with weeds in. As you can see, all the other ones have stayed pretty okay for now. They were covered up predominantly with cardboard mostly. So I've got about a couple of wheelbarrowfuls left in here, and then we'll start moving this lot into here bit by bit, adding greenery, which we've already started to do there. So yeah, a good day's work. Olive bed topped right up. As I said, these hadn't been done for over 3 years. This one's all done now. This bed's all fed, fish blood and bone and my compost, fish blood and bone and my compost. Then we have this one here that we've just done, straight on top of the previous year's compost with a bit of slow release. Likewise with this one, likewise with this one, and then we put 3 wheelbarrowfuls on this one and give this a good feed as well. Yeah. We've got the leeks cleared out of there, we've got the celery cleared out of there, so that's another good jobbed. I've pretty much had enough today, guys. It took it out of me. I can't do as much as I used to nowadays. So, and it's bitterly cold, so I'm probably going to call it a day. But we'll give you a final roundup in the shed. Right. As I say, sorry it's been a while, guys. Got a good bit of gardening done, but my back is giving me real pain at the moment, so I've had to stop, basically. But I'm delighted with what I've got done. Probably got, well, I've got most of the beds that really needed the dressing doing. All the other ones were only either done last year, and they just want fish blood and bone added to them, and maybe a bit of chicken manure or something like that. or some of my own homemade compost. I might even buy a few bags just to give them a bag or two on top. Yeah. But I've saved myself a fortune basically with all that compost that I managed to produce. Now it was full 3 times, and by the time I'd finished with my product, I was down to a quarter of a pallet bay, which is equated to about 14-15 wheelbarrowfuls, but that's a lot of compost. And if you can make it yourself and help yourself out, at least it keeps the cost down a little bit. This year I'm going to try and aim to make much more of it, and we'll see how that pans out. So as I say, I'm just cracking on, doing a little bit at a time, because we're in January now and we need to be really getting going. Tomorrow I maybe will plant some plants in those beds that we've now dressed, and probably sow some onion seeds. I know Boxing Day is sort of the day that most people plant their onion seeds, but I don't have the facilities to grow. I've got clutches, they're little propagators and what have you, but they're not electric or anything like that. So inside this dry area, inside a little propagator now, the temperature should be okay, and I should get away with putting a few of me big onions in. I bought some, if I can find them, I bought some show onions, great big things they are, and I'm going to have a little go trying to grow some of them this year. We'll see how that goes. Right, babbled on long enough. As always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, and keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your likes, dislikes, comments, subscriptions, and your donations. It really has been a wonderful gesture, and I really do appreciate everyone that helps. So all that remains for me to say is stay safe, be practical, and keep yourselves out of harm's way. I'll see you again in the next video.